All right. Welcome back, everyone, with another episode, the Tap In Podcast with your boy, Miles Johnson. I have a very special, distinguished guest with us today, Miss Trini. She's going to talk about herself, everything that she's done up to this point, how important it is in her role. Let's please give a round of applause, a warm welcome to Miss Trini. Wow. Yeah, I'm honored. I'm very thankful, because in your position, you could have just been like, nah, I'm good. Like, right?
No,
like, I don't know what you're trying to ask me. But I don't want to, not be like poke the bear or anything, but I just want to, I feel like the people should know who you are. Yeah. Like, I don't even really know you all like that as well. So
Right.
I was like, we might as well just record this conversation on camera. So
yeah, that's perfect. I'm Trini Lopez-Pehlivanoglu. I have
wait, real quick. I'm so sorry.
Last name?
Yes, because I don't want to mess up your last name.
So it's Pehlivanoglu.
Pehlivanoglu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for telling me.
I know it's very long, very Greek last name. So if you can imagine my house, we've got the Mexican American side, the Greek American side, and mash it all up, and that's what my house is like.
So that last name is Greek.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So my dad was actually born in Mexico. He's a naturalized citizen. My father-in-law was born in Greece, and he's a naturalized citizen. So on at least one side of our families, my husband and I are both first gen here. So
got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. So you're married. You married in.
I'm married. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm married into a Greek family.
All right. Well, I cut you off, but go ahead with your introduction, please.
Oh, okay. No, so I have lived in Lansing my whole life, except for a few years out at college. Went to Lansing schools. When I started my career, it was with Ingham County. Now I work for the state of Michigan. It's been a journey. I have a big family. My husband and I together, we have 4 kids.
Okay.
Total. We're a big blended family, like I said.
Okay.
But that's sort of the nuts and bolts of my life. Went through Lansing schools, graduated from Everett High School.
Okay.
Probably a long time ago now if I stop and think about it, but I'm proud Viking.
Shout out to them Vikings.
Yes,
man.
Go Vikings. Yeah.
No, I'm playing.
Well, my husband was a big red.
He's
a big red.
Oh, wow.
So
y'all got a split household.
Split household. And, of course, you're from Lansing, so we're big MSU fans. But my oldest son goes to U of M, so it's like...
Oh, y'all got a double bit, divided
crazy,
house.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So you talked about going to college. What college did you go to?
So out of high school, I went to Central Michigan.
Central Michigan?
Yeah, in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
So,
all right. How was Central?
It was great. I loved it there.
So word on the block is they only have one club?
One
club.
Oh.
Like one,
So, yeah. I probably went there a couple times.
All right. I was actually, but no, I thought that was crazy because I went to Bowling Green, Bowling Green State University. And my friends always talk about Central Michigan. They're like, bro, it's lame up there. They only got one club. And I'm like, oh, wow.
It's small. Well, it's small. I mean, there's more here in Lansing, East Lansing than there is. At least back then there was, more here locally. But
what's it called? Like the Barn or something? My Central Michigan people are going to be so mad.
So the Wayside.
The Wayside.
The Wayside.
The Wayside. Okay.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess.
So you went to Central Michigan. What did you major in?
So I was going into marketing at the time, but like a lot of people, my path was not this linear path. I actually didn't finish at Central. When I was 21, I got engaged and came home to Lansing, got married, and had my first son. And so, when you hit that path where it's like marriage, family, you're responsible for someone else, it was at that point where I was like, okay, didn't finish college, but I need a job. What am I going to do? And so I started looking around. At the time, my mom worked for Ingham County and suggested, look at their job openings, see what they have available. And so I did. And that's how I started with being a public servant as far as, working for a government entity. It was with Ingham County.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So what was your role specifically while you were here working for Ingham County?
So I started out, this is not popular. My very, very first job with Ingham County was with front of the court.
Oh.
And I hired in as a file clerk. What that means is nothing was digital back then. Very few things were digital. And I'm talking like 2001. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they had just started putting more things online at that time. Okay, not user-friendly, but
back then. Okay.
I would get stacks of papers, alphabetize them, and I would go into a file room and file 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That was my very first job with Ingham County. But
that sounds like hard work.
It was. I was on my feet. I was pregnant, but I needed a job. I needed, something steady. You needed health insurance, all those things that you have to start thinking about. So, but I was lucky that, I guess not lucky. I felt lucky because I was doing what I knew how to do, which was work hard. I did a good job. I wanted to show my boss that I could do a good job. And so I did that for, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. And then I earned a different position where I was more a clerical worker, taking phone calls, doing data entry, that kind of thing. And so I did that for about a year or so. After that, there was another opportunity. Again, just kind of like proving myself. I could do a good job. I was responsible. And from there, I made the move to Ingham County Circuit Court as a court clerk.
Gotcha. How'd you like that better?
I love that job.
Okay.
I love that job. I say all the time, if that position had, I guess, paid more or had more to offer, I would have done that for a long time because you work directly with the public. You have to have those soft skills. Like, no one goes to the court necessarily because they want to,
Right.
So you have people coming in with these situations where they have to be there. They don't necessarily want to be there, but now it's your job to provide a service to them. So how do you navigate that? You have to learn how to work with people, work well with them, understand what they need from you and how you can best serve them. And so along with that role, I also got to work in the courtroom, taking notations. So once a week, I was upstairs in a courtroom. People would come in for, plea hearings, sentencings. I was sitting in the courtroom when the assigned judge that I would work for would have a trial. I got to swear in jurors. A lot of different aspects to that job that I found interesting. Actually, working there, I was interested in working in that legal field. I didn't know I would be, but it turned out I was because that job was so cool and it had such a variety to it, and I really liked that.
Okay. Now, you said you work for the state of Michigan.
Yes, I do now.
So do you do the same thing for the state? Like, what do you do now?
No, my job is totally different. But so along that path, working for the county, I had eventually worked to become a judge's secretary, where I wasn't necessarily in the courtroom, but assisting a judge. From there, I worked for the Eaton County Prosecutor's Office. And each time I switched roles, it was because there was something that was available that I thought I could go for. Right. I thought, maybe I'm not there yet, but why not try? Let's see if I can do this. So worked for the Eaton County Prosecutor's Office. I was there for several years. And after some time, there was an opening with the Attorney General's Office, State of Michigan Attorney General's Office, as a legal secretary supervisor. And, remind you, this whole time, I've had no degree. I've just been working and working and working my way up.
Because when you got engaged to, y'all moved back to Lansing.
Right. And
I got married.
I had been married, no degree, had a baby, no degree, but I had a job and I had work ethic, right?
Right. So, you was working hard.
Exactly. So just working hard.
First of all, real quick, I want to commend you and all the other pregnant women that would stand on their feet for hours and work for their family. That's like, that's very commendable. That's tough.
Yeah, like, and at that time, as a mom, I felt, how can I contribute to my family between the hours of 8 and 5 Monday through Friday? The only way I could give more to my family was to work harder and just try to level up in any way I could. And so that was my goal. That's where my path led me over time.
That's dope.
So again, with the Attorney General's office, it sounded like this huge, intimidating role, but I had already been working in that field for several years, and I thought, why not try it? You know, the worst they can say is no. So I went and had an interview, and they hired me. Now I'm a supervisor at the Attorney General's office.
Wow.
Right? So that was that was probably the largest leap I had made at that point, was going from county government to state government and being classified as a, manager or supervisor. So that was great. I was really proud of that. And again, proved myself, worked hard. I ended up in the executive offices of the Attorney General's office. And when Attorney General Nessel was coming into her first term as Attorney General, I had applied to be her executive assistant, and I got that job.
Wow.
And I worked there for, almost that full first year that she was in office.
Okay.
Yeah, as her executive assistant. Now, at that time, I did have some more stability in my personal life. In my personal life, things had happened. I did get divorced. Some years later, I did get remarried. So at home, I had more stability. I was able to go back to school at that point.
Okay. Finish
my degree.
Yeah.
I finished my bachelor's degree about a week before my oldest son graduated high school.
Wow.
So that was a huge bucket list for me.
So what'd you end up finishing in? Did you switch or what?
So I went into business administration.
Okay.
Because at that point I had managerial experience. I had all of this office experience.
Wait, so you're a college graduate?
I am a college graduate.
With a business degree?
Correct.
Clap it up, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, I deal with a lot of high school kids, and I shouldn't say deal. I talk with a lot of high school kids,
right.
And, they think like, any high school kid, is college worth it? Right? Because it's this big thing. You don't know.
Yeah.
But like you went to college, you left, got married, had kids, and went back to college, switched majors, and graduated. Mm-hmm. College is worth it.
It is worth it if that's the world you want to be in. I mean, there are a lot of professions where you don't necessarily need that college degree to move up and level up. Or if you're an entrepreneur, you want to have your own business, you don't necessarily have to have that. But where I was in life, again, I had reached this level at the Attorney General's office, working in one of the highest levels of state government as an executive assistant. And I found myself in the space where there was nowhere else for me to grow there.
Right.
Again, at this time, now I'm remarried and have 4 kids at home. So what can I do for my family that's going to contribute?
So that's at the core of everything
Monday
that
through
you do.
Friday, 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Finish my degree. It opened so many doors. And I got that degree right as the pandemic hit, 2020. May of 2020, finished everything online, stayed, in the Attorney General's office for about another year. Mm-hmm. And at that point I thought, okay, now I have this degree. What am I going to do with it? There was a position opening at Licensing and Regulatory Affairs.
Laura.
Laura.
Yeah. Hey, if y'all know about that Laura, y'all need to know about Laura.
Laura touches almost every part of our lives every day.
And we
just don't know it. We don't know it. Everything is regulated. Everything is, from, the businesses you go to, the services that you have. Everything is somehow Laura touches it in some way. But this opportunity, because now I did have a degree, I could apply for this job. And it was in continuous improvement, which I don't know if you're familiar with what that is.
Yeah, you're going to have to educate everybody in the room and online.
Okay, so continuous improvement is really a way to work equitably with a staff. Let's just take, for instance, we'll call it a division, right? You have this big department and it's broken down into divisions. Well, in that division, you've got a director and everyone under that director. So my job was to go and work with this particular division of people. Mm-hmm. And we're taking a voice, at least one person from every type of position you can have, from the person who's the first one on the phones up to that director. And we're all coming together and we're talking about, okay, you receive these applications for, someone wants to form an LLC or a corporation. Mm-hmm. What's the first thing that person does? They go to your website.
Right.
Okay, they submit an application. Now, where does the application go? Now, what happens to it next? What comes next? And so over the course of a couple of weeks working with this team, you create understanding from, the director who maybe has no idea what this person does, but what they experience, when they're on the phone with a member of the public, They do know in a way, but they don't understand maybe the day-to-day frustrations that this employee has over here. And so by the time you're all said and done, everyone has an understanding of what happens in that process, 5 steps before their role and 5 steps after their role. And it creates understanding, and you get to hear from everyone that's involved. You talk about what issues you've had to face. Sometimes you have problems at work or anywhere really, and you're like, I just don't know how to solve this. But with everyone in the room and everyone talking about it, you can get down to the root cause of that issue, and then you start to solution. But everyone is solutioning together in a way that creates equity and in a way that you can really attack that core problem. And I love that work. Like, wow. I absolutely love that work.
Well, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So okay. To me, it's exciting. And they come away with, this package that I've been able to create for them that, they can use that to ask for more funding. They can use that to ask for an upgraded IT system. They can use that to advocate to bring more personnel because they don't have enough people to, do this as quickly as they need to do it. So there are a lot of benefits from that type of work. And so I was just really excited to join that team and be able to learn that skill and bring all of my, soft skills that I had from all of those years of work and then apply them in that way. And so that's been really meaningful to me.
Well, you've had quite the journey.
Yeah. And it's not, like I said, it wasn't like a linear, it wasn't a straight shot. There's a lot of ebbs and flows in there where, just experiencing what everyone experiences. Maybe you're not sure of yourself sometime, or maybe you're not sure if this is the right job for you, or maybe something else is going on and you have to stay right here for a while before you can, pursue your personal interests, because I do have kids and I do have a family life and all of these other things that are going on. So yeah, that's my professional journey.
Well, that's quite the journey.
Yeah.
So what do you do currently? Like that's the continuous improvement, right?
Right.
That's what you do right now.
So last week I accepted.
Okay. I'm like, there's no way.
I accepted a new position, and now I work in communications with Laura.
Got you.
Yes.
So like marketing, getting the word out, or what?
Yeah. So there's that component to it, and then there's also how we communicate with our employees. Now Laura has over 1,600 employees, just our department. And we have 18 bureaus or agencies that make up that department all across the state of Michigan. Okay. So it's important that we're delivering information to them where everyone's on the same page. There's no confusion. If there's a rules change or whatever it is that we want to communicate to our employees, now I'm helping with that. And also helping in a lot of other ways that I never thought I would kind of stumble into this, like social media, graphics and all different kinds of design aspects and things like that. So again, that's fun for me, but had I not gone back to school and gotten that degree, I never would have had these doors open for me. And so that's just, I'm really excited to be where I am right now.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Thoroughly impressed.
Thanks.
Thoroughly impressed. So I also wanted to ask you, quite the journey.
Yeah.
But all of that, and what we're here for. So we got to tell the people.
Yeah.
How did you get into running for city council?
So, on top of all of that we just covered, I was also, from a young age, I was raised to give back to my community. A lot of that starts in church. I grew up at Cristo Rey Church on the south side of town.
Yep.
My parents were very involved there. And my parents were both public servants. My dad worked for the city of Lansing for 30 years. My mom worked for Ingham County for about 25 years. So growing up with that and around that and being, having that as part of my life, to me, it felt natural as I grew older, as I became an adult, to serve my community. volunteering. I started volunteering more heavily when my oldest son went into school. And so it was important for me to be involved in his educational journey. So I went right in there, volunteered to be on the PTA, volunteered to, help out in the schools. And what happens when you start doing that is that you spend time in the schools, and then you talk to the teachers, you talk to the staff there, and you understand what some of their frustrations are, what some of their barriers are. And you think, okay, well, how can I help? So then you fundraise, or you do something, and you just become more involved, or you volunteer in the classroom, and you get to know the kids better. And that's where it started for me. And then eventually I was volunteering to be part of what they called the Chicano Latino Advisory Committee, which is at the time a group of, Hispanic or Latino parents who would get together, talk about, maybe issues our kids were facing, or barriers that they faced, or opportunities that exist for them, out there, and how we can bring that, to the schools, or bring that to the attention of this principal or that principal or administration. And so it was really just building those blocks of volunteerism that started with the schools. And at that same time, my dad had actually run for school board and was elected to school board. So I had a very good example in my own life of someone who went out and did this. He campaigned, he fundraised, he did all of that, and he was elected to Lansing School Board. And so I was really proud of him for that. I saw that as my example.
So that's your dad.
Yeah. And I saw what, if you work hard and you want to make a difference, this is what you can do. And so I knew that was possible. Mm-hmm. So over the years, I'd say easily over the within the last 10 years, I started joining different types of boards. Like I'm on the Cristo Rey Community Center Board of Directors. I've been there for about 6 years.
Okay.
Ingham County Equal Opportunity Committee.
I seen you on that one.
Yes. Yeah. Last year, I applied to represent the 3rd Ward on the Lansing Board of Ethics. And so I was appointed to that position. So just becoming involved, trying to make a difference is something I really believed in. And volunteering at my kids' schools, all along the way too, remaining active there. Still with church, still doing those things that they matter to me, and I know they matter to other people. And I just tried to figure out how I could best give back. And so I would say as we were going into 2023, and it was announced that there would be 2 open seats for Lansing City Council at large. Mm-hmm. I thought about it, and I wasn't sure if I was quite ready at that time. I mean, even after all of that, I don't know. I mean, unless they're like you, right? You were ready. you were ambitious. But
nah.
I wasn't sure. But I took some time and I thought about it, and I thought if 2 decades of building up my career the way I have, and if 2 decades of volunteering in my community was not enough, what would be enough? And I just thought, why not? Put myself forward. All I can do is try my best, put my best foot forward. I have to introduce myself to people. I have to, get myself out there. And it started with me sort of doing a temperature check of people that I had worked with. Okay. Now, I wasn't calling my best friends. I wasn't calling my yes men who were like, oh, you'd be great at that. Oh, that's a great thing. I mean, I called people who I had actually worked with on committees or boards just to see, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. How do you think that would go over? How do you think that would be received? And overwhelmingly, they were like, you need to do this. This would be fantastic. Wow. I believe in you. And so I thought, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. And because, like I said, my dad had run for office. He's been on the school board for quite a while. And so I've had the opportunity to help manage his school board campaigns. He did run for city council once. Unfortunately, he wasn't elected, but I managed that campaign as well. So when we talk about going out and the time commitment,
you understood.
the expectations. I knew what it would take to do this. And
that's important.
Yeah. And so I felt prepared to go out and do what I needed to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was all with this just extraordinary feeling that if I could give back to my community in this way, I think it could be really, really beneficial. I mean, personally fulfilling for me,
right?
But I think I have some really good skills to offer, and I thought it would be a good fit. And so I'm just humbled and happy to have been elected this November.
Well, one thing I will say out of everything up to this point in the interview, you are very consistent with your views and with your goals and your purpose. You say a lot. I'm basically doing this for my family, or what value could I bring to my family? Right? I don't even think you I don't know if you prepared that. That's crazy if you did.
No.
But if that's subconscious, then that means that's telling me that you really mean that.
Right.
And that's a sign of a great mom.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you're a great mom, but from the looks of it, you definitely got to be a great mom. So
I hope I'm a good mom. I don't know about great. No one's perfect, but and that's for me, because family is the most important thing in my life. God and family, obviously, but my kids are my world. My husband, the home we've built together. But along the way, everything I do is for my kids. So when I sat down again to think about, okay, here we are as a city.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on in the city of Lansing. You've got, I'll get to the other part, because I think there's always some give and take, right? We have issues, but there's some really good silver linings out there, and some really good stuff that's going on too. My two older kids, they both graduated from Everett, like I said, the first in 2020 and the second just in 2023. The number of times they would text me or send me videos from being locked down in their school because of maybe a gun being in the school.
Oh, yeah.
Not okay. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
Or there's activity in the neighborhood where the school has to be on lockdown.
Yeah.
Or they found a gun in some kid's backpack, and so they're on lockdown. More times than I can tell. I don't even know how many times, more than 10, over the years, where, my kids are getting to me before the school can. And as a mom, it's just so nerve-wracking. And it's like, it was more frequent as the years went on. So I knew, just as a mom and as a resident and as someone who's paying attention, like, this was getting worse. Okay. It wasn't getting better. It was getting worse. And so when I was out there, knocking doors, talking to people, meeting neighbors, meeting all different types of people, I was like, that was kind of natural to build that into my platform, because I'm like, we really need everyone to come together and address this. And, I think that everyone can play a role in public safety. Like,
absolutely.
Everyone can play a role in public safety. So, of course, you have, the city portion of it, the police department and the programs and things like that, but everyday residents can do their part too. And so that was one of the things that I really wanted to get across. And again, it was because if I care that much about my kids and their safety, and just because I feel, safe in my little bubble, I like my street, my neighbors are great,
right.
But none of us are immune to, gun violence. None of us are. We're all neighbors. We all shop at the same stores. Our kids go to school together. And that's the reality of it. So what are we going to do to make it better?
That's a great question. We're going to leave that question for the audience.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Southern, owner, engineer, producer here at Risky Studios. And Risky Studios, it's a place where you can be yourself. You can be creative. You can, make your wildest dreams come true. So come join us in the heart of East Lansing. Go green, go white, go Spartans.
We're back, and I have a quick question I wanted to ask Trini. But before we do that question, I want to do something special. Hey, little bro, you mind handing me my backpack? Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. So,
It's backpack.
thank you. Thank you. Gift from my father. Shout out to Pops. All right. So, we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Quick game.
There's no math, right?
No. It's called apples to oranges.
Okay.
Okay, apples or oranges, excuse me. So, it's real simple. Apples or oranges? Which one you like?
Oranges.
Okay. Peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Turkey or chicken?
Turkey.
I think you'll like this one. MSU or U of M?
Oh! MSU. MSU. Go green. Go green.
Go white. Go white. Little bro approves. All right. Not to be that guy, but did you prefer working for the county or state?
State.
Okay. Politically correct, as you should. All right. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
All right. MLK or Jolly?
I'll go MLK.
All right. Random question. Just why not? And then this is my last one for you. Actually, not last one.
Okay.
Winter or spring?
Oh, spring.
Spring?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is side note. When's your birthday?
June.
June?
Yep.
Okay. If you're going on a birthday trip,
Uh-huh.
what would you prefer to do? Okay. Since you're a summer baby, let's go with these two options.
Okay.
A trip to the Bahamas
Okay.
or a trip to the Everglades in Florida.
Bahamas.
Bahamas for
Yes,
sure. Have you
for
been to
sure.
Bahamas?
I have been to Jamaica.
Jamaica?
Yes.
So
But
have
not
you
to
like
Bahamas.
what's like Jamaica like?
Tropical.
Love it?
Loved it.
Did you go to a resort? Was it all inclusive? What'd you do?
I went to an all-inclusive resort. Yep.
Hey, those are the best,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yep. It was an experience. That was my honeymoon. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I'm biased but
Okay.
you're happy to begin with, and then you are in paradise. So, there's nothing
Yeah.
to be mad about.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Yeah. All right. So thank you for participating in apples or oranges. You could take an apple or orange.
I'll take the orange.
Mandarin. But now for the last question, what would you like to leave to the audience? What would you like to say? First of all, actually, let me say thank you for your service.
Oh,
Everything that you do up to this point. I feel like you've given to the community in different ways. Besides just saying, hey, you just woke up like, oh, I want to be
right.
a city
right.
councilwoman. Like, another thing is too, I just want to clarify, and another key reason why I interviewed you.
Mm-hmm.
People call me councilman, and I get so irritated
Oh.
on the low. I don't get too mad because I appreciate. Let me just say this: I appreciate it, because you recognize me as an elected official. But just to set the record straight, she's with the city. I'm with the county.
Yes.
So,
You're a commissioner.
yeah, I'm a commissioner. She's a councilwoman. So just to set the record straight, okay, we have two different roles, but we do similar work. But either way, what would you like to leave with the audience? What would you like to say as their new councilwoman?
Sure. So I am absolutely humbled to have been elected as, a Lansing City Council person. I will say I am the first Latina to ever serve on Lansing City Council. So, again, opening another door. I'm going to leave that door open so that others can come in as well.
You should.
As we should. Always look to lift others up. But I look to represent all residents in the city of Lansing through hard work, through collaboration, through, having important conversations like this. I love talking to people, meeting new people. Everyone's perspective. If you live in the city, your perspective is important. it's important for me to understand where you're coming from. And I just hope that I can serve to the best of my ability and bring about some positive change for Lansing.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. This is another episode on the Tap In Podcast with your boy, Miles Johnson. We'll see you soon.